friends, and welcome back to the Stretch Cafe. Thank you for joining me today on your coffee break. I had a request for doing some stretches for tennis elbow. So that's the outer part of this epicondylitis, or the epicondyle, and it's inflamed, so that's why it's called lateral epicondylitis. So with anything that's been diagnosed already and you know it's an inflammation, I always suggest it to my massage clients that after I've worked on you, or you've stretched, or you've worked on yourself, and I'm going to show you some pressure points to work on yourself, you want to put some ice on, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is find any spot up here above the elbow that's tender. And you kind of want to go across, either cross fiber friction or going along with the striation of the muscle and the tendons that are involved that are so tender. So you want to do a little bit of work for yourself, kind of helps loosen things up a little bit. So if you don't really have any tender points up in this area at this point, and you do have tennis elbow or golfer's elbow, then that's okay. You know, sometimes it feels like it shifts around depending on where the inflammation is. But I want to show you one that I always did for my clients. So rest your arm on your desk or a countertop, and we're going to work a muscle right along here, and you know you've hit the muscle when your middle finger starts jumping around, okay? You'll feel it because it's usually the tightest one. So I want us to start by finding a spot here, right below the elbow, on top of the forearm, and just kind of run your fingertips across. And you will feel a muscle that's always tight. And my middle finger starts jumping around typically. I know I have it, but it's not jumping too much. Not that you'd see. But anyhow, this is something people can do daily. So just to offset anything that might happen with inflammation for either carpal tunnel or tennis elbow or golfer's elbow. So what I'm going to have you do is get your elbow, now that you know where that spot is, it's the tender one that's at the base of your elbow on top of your forearm, but find it with your elbow now on the opposite, from the opposite hand. When I do this, I realize just how sharp my elbows are, so be gentle with yourself. I'm also going to apologize now. Any clients that are on here watching or former clients, when I dug my elbows in, sorry. I know, that smarts, doesn't it? Okay, so typically you want to, I'm moving my elbow back and forth just because it feels better for me. You can just hold a point and just like stick to it. If you're holding a point and sticking to it, 8 to 10 seconds on that, that's it. Otherwise, just kind of move it around. And you want to do that for a good 30 seconds. It just kind of gets the blood flowing to that area. And then I like to rub my elbow prints out, and then we'll do some stretches. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is fingers pointed down and your palm facing towards you. And you just want to push, push, push. And now with this one, you're adding the pressure so you feel it working up your arm, but I want to make it where you feel that pressure and that stretch go a little bit more. So with this pressure from the opposite hand, take the elbow crease and I want you to rotate it up. You're still keeping the fingertips down, but you're just rotating at the elbow crease. Okay, so you'll feel that stretch move its way further up your arm. So you want to hold that for a good 30 seconds and just breathe into the pressure. Okay, now let it go and rotate your wrist. Get some oxygen going there. And now we're going to do the same thing for the other side of your forearm. So palm out, fingertips down. And on this one, the secret is to encompass those fingertips so they're not peeking out. You want them encompassed in your hand, and do a nice stretch so it goes from the hand all the way up underneath part of your arm. So with this, we're just really stretching out flexors and extensor muscles, and it feels so good. And I know we've done this before, and we've done this for carpal tunnel, but this is also what helps any kind of inflammation because the muscles attach at the elbows too, so for tennis or golfer's elbow. Okay, so now do it again on the other side. So as a quick recap, find any tender spots above the elbow if you have them, and I just like to kind of go with the striation first, and then if I find a spot, I'll hone in, and then I might just rub my fingers going in across the fiber instead of going with the fiber. Okay, and then Rest your arm down, find the spot with your other elbow, or you can find it with your thumb. I like to encourage you to use your elbow just because you can hold it longer and we don't want your fingers to get tired. So find the spot, you know you've got it when you've got your middle finger jumping around. Okay, rub your elbow print out. I got mosquitoes all over me. And now fingertips down and palm in. Push, 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 add that pressure. And then here's where we rotate right here. If you can see it, you want to rotate the elbow crease up, but keeping the fingertips down. Don't let them turn also. Okay, hold that for a good 30 seconds. And then you rotate your wrist to get some blood going again. And now palm out, fingertips down, and make sure in this one, the tip is, you cover the tips of your fingertip, okay? Don't let them peek out. You want to encompass the whole fingertip. Okay, can you feel the stretches? So those of you who have issues and you do get some heat building up here just from the pressure and from the stretches, remember, go ahead, rotate. You want to add a little bit of ice to that. Okay, so just to recap, this is not a diagnosis of any kind. So somebody who already had a diagnosis says she had tennis elbow, so she wanted some ideas. So this can offset so you don't get tennis elbow or golfer's elbow or carpal tunnel as well. Okay, so that is it. Thank you so much for joining me today at the Stretch Cafe. I hope to see you next week. Enjoy your week.